Jesus can still perform the same miracles and blessings that he did in the biblical times. He could still do that right now, today, in 2023. The reason people are not believing that he cannot do it, or the reason that we are not seeing him perform them, is because we don't believe it. The problem is people are too comfortable and they're getting too conformed with knowing the worldly Jesus and not knowing the biblical Jesus. Worldly Jesus and biblical Jesus is totally different. This is why people who proclaim to be Christian and Christ followers are setting a bad example, because they are too in tune with worldly Jesus and not biblical Jesus. People are not committed to learning, representing, and reflecting the biblical Jesus. This is why you see so many Christians and followers of Christ so comfortably still living in the world and being lukewarm Christians and not being loving towards each other. We see so much hate and division simply because people are not willing to commit themselves to biblical Jesus. With worldly Jesus, people feel like they can still be themselves how they want to be themselves. They don't have to follow the commandments of the Lord. They feel like they can still live how they want to live, but they can still say, I love Jesus, to cover up their tracks. If you're going to follow Jesus, then you truly have to follow Jesus. You cannot proclaim that you are a Christ follower and that you are walking in the Spirit if you are not truly walking in the Spirit. If you are not abiding by the rules of the Lord. People don't seem to want to know biblical Jesus because biblical Jesus gives off too much truth for them. But if you are going to say that you follow Jesus, you got to follow the Jesus in the Bible, not in the world. And if you are going to follow Jesus, you have to know that Jesus is true. He's truth. He comes with truth. So you have to be willing to accept all of him if you are going to follow him. You can't just make up things on your own and then put him behind it. This is why we cannot see the miracles that we want to see, because people have put limits on Jesus. People have put limits on what Jesus can do because they see the worldly Jesus. They're not looking at the biblical Jesus. We have to remember that if Jesus did it before, he can do it again. Take your eyes off of who the world says Jesus is and put your eyes and your focus on who Jesus is in the Bible, because that's what matters and that's who he is. He is not what we are learning about in this world. He is everything that the Bible says that he is. And we have to remember that the Bible is truth. It is all truth. Nothing in the Bible is a lie. Because Jesus did it before, he can do it again. We just have to be committed to knowing the real biblical him.